सो मैं इसके बाद म्यूट पे चले जाऊँगा एंड वील बी लाइव इन 3. वी आर लाइव सर.
Hello everyone. So after a long time, we are back again with the Learn Along series of PCA. Today we are going to discuss very interesting topics. So topic is important also. The topic is we are going to analyze some games and some positions on decision making. So which is very difficult actually because in some positions or in certain situations, it becomes very difficult for us to take decision like which move to make. So follow this first position, and here black captured a rook on c2. Here replied with so here it's black. And you can see that white is giving some threat black the capture on d5. And if the pawn is taking, then the queen again threatening to capture the knight on d5. This is one threat. And the second threat, or there are some options for white is, white can play knight c6 and try to capture the rook and also attack the a5 pawn. Because the a5 pawn is also very weak in this position. And that reason, what should black play now? That's the main question here. So I'm giving you some time to think, and you can type me in chat, and then I will be analyzing all the variations. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting some moves. Yeah. Okay. So the first move which we can discuss in this position is knight b6, as the knight is under attack. And the second move which we can play in this position is what about rook c8? Is it possible? Yeah, I'm getting in chat that someone is telling to play rook c8. Yeah, we can play rook c8, but after rook c8, I think the no, it's black to play. It's black to play, Jayapal. So after rook c8, you were asking what should white play? Okay, I think if white is taking the rook, the queen will capture, and after that white can carry on with the normal threat, bishop d5, e d5 and queen d5. I think white is having an extra pawn, and if like black can only give a check and the king will come here, and the bishop and pawn both are under attack, so it's black is better. Okay, yeah, Nehant is saying rook c8. So rook c8 is not working. We analyzed this move, and there is the second move which we are going to analyze, that is in this position, knight b6. Okay, so after knight b6, white can go with knight c6 actually, because after knight c6 the knight is attacking the rook and also the knight is attacking the pawn, and I think we cannot play rook a8 because it's in the diagonal of the bishop. So I think right now we can't play knight e7 because the knight is taking, I mean defending the rook on a8. So after rook a8, white can play something like what can white play? Okay, I think queen d3 is fine here, because after queen d3 it's pinning the bishop and rook d2, and then again putting pressure on the d6 bishop. I think this should be also better for white. So here as there are many options for black to play, so in this position, so here black basically played knight to f6. So this is the best move here. because you might be asking me that what if white is playing knight c6 right now. So yeah, white can play knight c6. Now my question is, what if black plays rook a8? What should white do? I'm giving you 1 minute. You can check and tell me what should white play. Okay, Sriyansh is again saying rook c8. Okay, any idea? Yes, Mayuk, you can also try. Okay, yeah, there is a good move white can do. Yeah, I got the correct answer. Yes. So here white can just play knight e7. So rook 8 is also not working in this position. So because after knight e7, it's a discover attack, and the bishop is threatening to capture the rook. I mean, if the bishop takes, the bishop is taking the rook. So this is also better for white. So in this position, after rook c2, so knight f6. Yeah, so after knight c6, what best black can do is black can just play rook c8, sacrificing the a5 pawn, because white can't get everything. I mean, black can't get everything. So if knight is capturing the a5 pawn, then the rook will take on c2. If the queen is taking here, I think the best way to defend in this position is to play pawn to g6, and the idea is to play bishop e5 and to play something for draw, because there is nothing more than that black can get. Okay, so this is the introduction. So like this, we are going to analyze a similar position. Yeah, so this is the position. So here the last move was like there was a capture on h5, and here white played queen h5, capturing the knight on h5. So here also there are two options which black is getting, that is white is threatening to capture the pawn on h7, and another move, that is the queen is trying to capture the pawn on c5. So these are the two moves which white is threatening right now. Again, so there is time to take decision from black side. So here what black can do is black can play, I think, pawn g6. This can be played, or pawn h6 can be played. This is another move. Or I don't think anybody is going to consider d takes c5, because then the queen is going to capture the pawn on h7. So these are the threats which white is giving right now. So again I'm giving you some time to think on this position, and just tell me what should black play in this position. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'm waiting to see if there is something coming in the chat or not. Okay, Ravi Kumar is saying pawn g6. Yeah, we can play pawn g6. That's a nice move, which I am telling. But here, what will you do if we white queen is capturing the c5 pawn? So here, white is having a clear pawn advantage, like having an extra pawn. So it should be better for white actually. So any other ideas? Okay, pawn h6. Okay, I'm getting Mayuk is saying pawn h6. Okay. After pawn h6, if white goes with the same option with queen c5, then okay, Shudipa Mohanty is saying rook d5. Okay, rook d5. Okay, rook d. But I think we can't play rook d5 because queen h7 is coming. We can't play rook d5. Okay. king h8 and queen h8 is coming. So rook d5 is also not working. Okay, so Edward, yeah, Edward is saying pawn f5. Okay, Puneet Goyal, yeah, f5. Yes, so we got the correct move, f5. Yes, so after f5, the thing is, black is not only blocking the bishop, and it is also defending the queen h7 sacrifice. I mean the queen h7 check, and also this queen takes c5. So by playing f5, white is defending both the threats. So now, if white is playing pawn takes c5, now what if rook takes d8? Can anyone tell me? I mean, what if rook takes d3? It's white to play. Can anyone tell me? Yes, again, I'm waiting. Yeah, I got the correct move. Yes. Queen takes e8, and yeah, this is a checkmate. So, after f5 also, yeah, after f5 also, if white is capturing on c5, black cannot actually take the bishop on d3 because the rook on e8 is hanging, right? Yes. Yes, San Sakaran. Yes, you are correct. So here black is playing bishop f7. So in this position, what we can see is that white is having an extra pawn, but the initiative which black got, that is huge. Because after bishop f7, white is having two options, queen e2 and queen f5, right? So queen f5, if white is trying to play queen f5, I think here black can play bishop g6, and black should get the d3 bishop, and if bishop f5 check, king h8, and still it's like a skewer. If the queen moves anywhere, the b1 rook is under attack. So this is also losing. And so queen f5 is not working. So now queen to e2. This is the good move what white can do in this position. But after this, okay, after queen e2, black is playing knight d4, threatening to capture the queen, and the pawn can't take the knight on d4. So now the question is, what if white is playing queen f2? What should black do now? Any idea? I'm giving you some time to think and tell me. You can type me in the chat. Yes, after queen f2, what should be the black's next idea? Plan like this way. Okay. So here, the thing is, white is attacking the knight on d4. So what we have to do is, we have to defend the knight. And the main thing is, white is having pair bishop advantage. So first of all, what black is doing is playing, yes, San Sakaran, yes, knight f3. Yes, I got the move in the chat. Knight f3, this is the best move. Because after knight f3, queen captures, then the rook captures on d3. So what black is doing, first of all, black is like eliminating the pair bishop from white side. And then what is black is getting is, there are much resources for black side to make a draw in this position, because we all know that opposite color bishop is like, most of the opposite color bishop endgame ends in a draw. So after rook d3, rook takes b7, because the queen is defending the rook on b7. Okay, yes, I can see Edward also saying knight f3. Yes, you are correct. Okay, San Sakaran, knight f3, queen f3, rook d3. Yes, you got the correct variation. San Sakaran, yes. So after rook b7, black can play queen c5, and here the game ended in a draw. Not here, like after that few moves are played, like queen takes c5, and here we can see that the c1 bishop is still very passive, right? Yeah, you played a senior state and championship and got skewered like this. Yeah. Okay. So here, by sacrificing a pawn, we can see that black got so much counterplay and all the pieces of black is very active. Okay. So let's move on to the next position. Okay. This is the next position, and here white played rook e8. Okay. So after moving the rook to e8, the rook is in the semi-open file and the rook is in the same file of the king. So it's black to play again. Again, there are some options what uh, black can do. The first threat that white is giving is knight takes on d5. Let's say, mm, let's say black is doing castle. Just a move. Capture, 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 and capture. So by this way, black is losing a pawn. This can be one variation. And after this, black can play knight f6, this d7 knight to f6, this d5 knight to f6. I think d5 knight to f6 is too risky for black, because there can be some trade like this capture, capture, and knight g6 might be coming, and the e6 pawn is lost now. So black can play knight f6 or castle. So this is the two options. So again, after rook e1, I am giving you 1 minute. You can think and type me in the chat. Yes, Avilash, you can type here, Avilash Sandsakaran. Okay. d4 and c2. Okay, Som Suresh is saying b4 and c2. Okay, you want to move your knight to b4, but doesn't it looks very risky? Like if you play knight b4, yeah, you are getting this c2, but if I capture and I think it's gonna be a checkmate over f7. Yeah, it's queen f7 checkmate. So knight b4 is not working. Okay, so let's analyze knight f6. Yeah. Okay, I got some moves like castle. Yes, castle. Yes, that's a good move. So here let's see what is happening after knight f6. So here after knight f6, the main problem which is occurring is queen g6, right? So after queen g6, what is happening is you can't castle right now, because if you castle, then there comes this bishop h6. This is, I think, this is very annoying. After knight h5, I think queen f3, and it is attacking the knight. So yeah, knight d7 to f6 is also not working, because queen g3 is clearly better for white. All the pieces are very active. So here, whenever you have to take some decision or you have to play actively, just keep this in your mind that we should not go passive. Okay, so always we should try to keep our pieces very active and like full of counter plays. So castle is the best move here. Capture, 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 capture. Yes. So this is the target position here. So here you might be thinking that here black lost a pawn. Yeah, black might lose a pawn, but we can see black's pieces are now very not, I won't say it's active, but the castle is completed, and this d4 pawn is very weak, which can be attacked very easily. So capture, queen takes d8, because white can't play queen e5 because of bishop f6. Then I think the d4 pawn is falling, and then after knight e5, queen d8, rook d8. Yeah, pawn takes e5. Then bishop b4, we are attacking the rook, and there is a back rank checkmate threat. So the rook cannot go up. So white is playing rook f1, and the rook is coming to c8. So now the idea is like black can go to the second rank, rook c2, followed by bishop d2. And by sacrificing a pawn, black managed to get some compensation, and I think black is having equality in this position, and black is not worse. So here after rook c8, if white is playing something bishop e3, rook c2 is fine. After rook c2, if b3, then bishop d2 is coming. No, after bishop d2, rook d1 is there, one more. But still, I think rook a2 is there. Okay, but I think it's better not to play bishop d2. Black can just play actively with bishop c3 and getting this pawn on e5. That's fine. So this was the position. From here, after rook e1, castle is the best move. Okay, so yeah, yes. Okay, yes, back rank checkmate. Yes, and Sakaran, you are correct. Yeah, so now I'm moving to the next one, and this one is going to be very interesting. Okay, yeah, this one is on the like planning. So here it is black to play, and here also you have to take some decision, and you have to make the correct plan. So here in this position we can see that it is black to play, and in this position there are certain ideas which black can take. That is, first of all, we can see that this bishop on c8 is not a good bishop, right? Because it is blocked by his own pawns, pawn on a6 and the pawn on f5. So we should find a way out to develop this bishop, and the rook on a7 is also not doing that much. So we should try to keep that in play, like rook e7 taking the e file. So these should be the ideas. So I'm giving you 1 minute to find out the correct plan. Yeah. So what should black play, and what should be the correct approach in this position? Yeah. Okay, you can type me in chat knight d4. How can we move knight d4? Okay, Sriyansh, we can't move knight to d4. Okay, plan bishop d6 and d5. You mean to say bishop d7? Okay, then pawn to b5. Yeah, we can do that, but after bishop d7, it looks very passive, because still we can't play b5 because the knight is there on c3, and this bishop is also there on e2. So bishop d7 is not possible. Okay, so yeah, queen e7. Okay, Edward is saying queen e7. Okay, so what's your plan? You want to capture the bishop on e3. Okay, that's nice, but after queen e7, it's if white just moves the bishop away with bishop f2, then Edward. Okay, everyone is saying queen e7. Ravi Kumar, queen e7. SB. I don't know the names. I'm telling the name which I can see. I can see it's SB. SB is saying queen e7. Okay, king f2. Okay, f4. Puneet Goyal is saying f4. But you want to sacrifice a pawn with f4. The bishop can capture. f4 is also not working. Okay, so now let me explain the position. So here the first thing is we have to play actively. This is the first thing. So here we have to realize which is the weakest piece, or which piece black can attack. So here we can see that this knight on g3 is not having that much square to move on. So here we can easily attack this knight with this pawn on h7. So here the first move is pawn to h5. And our next plan is moving the pawn to h4, knight, then moving our f6 knight to h5. So this should be our plan. Okay. Yeah, queen e7 is not working and b5 is also not working. Okay, so after h5, let's say white is playing bishop e2, h4, then knight e2. Then what we can do, we can just play knight h5. Our idea is we are opening up our h8 bishop. Then see, we are trying to activate our c8 bishop also by moving our pawn to g5, pawn to f4, and then we can activate our c8 bishop to f5. This can be our plan. Yes, I got the move from Puneet. Yes, h5. So the main plan in this position is you have to figure out which is the point or on which part you can hit your opponent. So here this is the knight. So we have to hit the knight, pawn h5, bishop f1, pawn h4, knight e2, and we are playing knight h5. Let's say white is playing knight f4. We are just capturing, and we can play bishop d4, centralizing the bishop, and we are giving a check. And then the king will move to h1. And I think in this position, it's black is better, and here g5 is also coming. After g5, we can win the bishop also, because the bishop is having no square to move, and the g5 pawn is defended by the queen and the knight. So this was the position, and here from here we were finding it very difficult to find the correct plan, right? But if you think in the correct direction or correct way, then you can easily find the correct plan. So h5 was the move in this position. Okay, so let's analyze a similar position. Yeah, so in this position, it is white to play. Again, I'm giving you 1 minute to think, and you can tell me what should white do now. Any idea? You can type me in the chat. Yes, you can. Again, the way I analyze the other positions, the same way you have to think of this position also. Okay, so here, okay, bishop f4. Okay, Sant Sakaran is saying bishop f4. Okay. Any other move? Yeah, bishop f4 is a very nice move because you are developing the bishop and you are following the opening fundamental. Yes, you are developing pieces. That's a nice move. You can play bishop f4. I agree with you. But you have to think that what your opponent tries to do, and you have to restrict that. Queen to f3. Okay, queen to f3. So what's your plan of playing queen f3? You are attacking the pawn on c6. Okay. If you play queen f3, what if I play pawn d5, and then my plan is to play knight d6 followed by bishop f5 like this way? Queen f3, queen g3. Okay, and then bishop f6. Okay, again you want to just finish the game quickly. Edward is saying this plan. Okay, but here after you play queen g3, I can play bishop f5, and if you play bishop h6, I can just play bishop g6, and the threat is stopped, right? Okay, queen e3. Ravi Kumar is saying queen e3, queen g3, bishop h6. Yes, the same thing. If you play queen e3, I think I can go with knight c5, and if you play queen here, I think I will go with bishop f5. Oh no, sorry. Yes, after queen g3, my d6 pawn is under attack. So first I will play d5. If you play bishop h6, I will play knight e6, or I can play queen f6 also. After queen f6, I am attacking your rook and bishop. So if you want to like do some attack like this way, this is not going to be successful every time. So here you have to figure out what your opponent is trying to do right now. So what's the main plan of your opponent? So the main plan of your opponent is black is trying to develop the bishop on f5 and also developing the knight to c5, because the knight on b7 is not doing anything, right? This is clear, right? So you have to restrict your opponent's plan. Okay. So what you are going to do in this position? So the first move is moving the pawn to b4. Yeah, this move. Yes. When I'm explaining you the position, now I'm getting the correct moves in the comment. Yes. I got the correct move from Kasturi. Yes. b4. Okay. b4 and a3. Yes. Yeah, you can play b4, but a3 is not required because the pawn is already defended with the rook. Yes, b4 is the correct move. Very good. After b4, if rook e8, yes. So, okay, let's analyze this move first. So after b4, what white is doing? Just restricting black from activating his knight. So now the knight is paralyzed on b7. So this is the worst piece possible. Okay. So here the next plan should be, if black is playing bishop f5. Now we can carry on with our own plan. What Sand Sakran was saying, bishop f4, rook d1, attacking the d6 pawn, queen f3. Now you can do anything, or else you can play queen a6 also. This is also a nice way to like attack the weak squares. Uh, Okay, San Sakaran, if you get afraid of this back rank checkmate, you can play one move h3 also. You can make some room for the king. Yeah. Okay, so b4, rook 8 was played, bishop e3, bishop e6, queen f3. Now we are following that plan, attacking the pawn, queen d7. Still we can see black is unable to move the knight anywhere. The knight is stuck on b7. It can't go to a5 or c5. So knight e4. So now white is trying to maneuver his knight to the g5 square and attack this bishop. Bishop f5. Okay. Yeah, second. Queen a6 was a good move. Knight g3. Bishop takes c2. Rook c1. And here white is attacking the bishop, and if the bishop goes back to a4 and defend this pawn, this is possible, or the bishop can go back to g6. But in both the moves, let's say first analyze bishop g6. I think after bishop g6, we can just capture the pawn on c6, and if rook c8, capture, and now Sand Sakaran, we are going to play your move pawn h3, making some room for the king. And there are many weaknesses for black in this structure. This is a weak pawn. This is also a weak pawn. So both are isolated pawn, and this knight is still out of play. We can see that. And I think here h4 is the better option, because by playing h5 we can attack the bishop, and we can also play h6. Yeah. So here white got some advantage, I think. Yeah. Okay. So after this, we are going to analyze a similar game. Yeah, this game. This game is also white to play. Okay. Yes, this game is also white to play. And here also I'm giving you 1 minute. Try to figure out what decision you should take and what you are going to play. Tell me the plan. Yeah, I'm checking the chat. Uh, okay, so here again we need to think this position the same way I explained you the previous position. Okay, so here we can see that in this position it is white to play, and there are many moves which white can play. I'm giving you some ideas. That is, uh, here we can do. Okay, what about knight e4? I don't think it's a good move because after knight e4, if the knight captures, the pawn can capture. Then we can, like, this is very weak pawn, and this structure is better for black. So knight e4 might be a candidate move, but okay, bishop a3. Uh, uh, Kom, Komal Patra. Okay, so I'm getting bishop a3 and knight. Sand Sakran, you want to capture knight d4. Why? Why knight d4? What is the point? Like, if black is capturing, you are not getting c5 because the bishop and queen is here. So knight d4 is not working. Okay, a4. Yes, a4 is a Kasturi. Yes, a4. Yes, a4 is fine. a4. So you are trying to strengthen your queen side pawn chain. Yes, yes, that's a nice idea. You can do that. Okay. But I think we will find a better idea in this position. Here, first we have to realize that what's our opponent is trying to do. That should be our main plan. So here, if we go deep in this position, what's the main thing which we need in this? Okay, bishop a3. Yes, Kasturi. Bishop a3. So you want to activate this passive bishop. Okay, yes, yes. Sailara, yes. Bishop a3. Yes, this is a, I will say this is a good move because you are trying to activate your passive bishop. But do you think that by playing bishop to a3, your bishop will get activated from this diagonal? I think no. Yeah, we can play a4 and a3, that is fine. But here you have to work on the main weakness what white is having. So the weakness is this bishop on b2. So what we can do a maneuver. Bishop c1, I mean knight b3, bishop c1, and we can develop the bishop from this part of the board and get this diagonal, right? By playing bishop a3, you can attack the c5 pawn, but I don't think we can put that much pressure on the c5 pawn to win it, right? Okay, yes, Avilash, you can also type in the chat.
फिर उसने बनाई, फिर उसका वैभव के साथ कुछ झगड़ा हुआ. हाँ,
Okay.
अरे उसने फाड़ती पेंटिंग उसने जो बनाई थी पहले ऐसा कुछ.
अच्छा, मतलब बनाई थी.
हाँ, बनाई थी.
So here you can see that. So if you play bishop c1, this is the move which we are analyzing. Our rook on a1 is getting passive, right? So what we have to do is, first we have to activate our pieces. So first we are playing rook e1, right? Now our main idea is to maneuver the knight on b3. Okay. So after moving the knight to b3, like this way, we can play bishop to c1. Okay. Yes, Rishu. Yes, you can also type in the chat. Okay. So rook e1, black is playing rook e8. Now we can play bishop c1, and our now bishop is now going to be very active. No, it's not going to be very active, but still we can see that now this bishop is getting some room to play. And yeah, we can also play knight b3. And let's take rook captures. Okay, hi Gopal. Rook captures, rook captures, and rook e8. Then we can do another trade, and we can play knight h4. So now we can see all the pieces are getting very active. You can play knight h4, and we were talking about knight b3 also. Knight b3 is also a very interesting idea.
ऐसा
because after capture, okay, now I will be asking you
इससे भी
this
अच्छी
question
थी वो
to you.
पहले वाली, ऐसा कुछ था।
Okay,
इससे पहले
Akshaj,
वाला
yes,
वाला।
Akshaj.
ये फिर अभी
Okay,
ending
Riyansh
था,
is also
first
here.
वाला
वो पता है अब जिसने बना ही ना सिर्फ उसको समझ में आएगा कि इसमें गलती क्या है।
Santosh,
अबे
yeah,
but
Santosh,
ये जो
Akshaj,
हाथ वाला है ना,
Riyansh,
उसमें
Rishu,
moving वगैरह ना, उसका
Abhilash.
बहुत
Okay,
ज़्यादा
after knight
clear
captures
था।
on
मतलब और
B3,
sharp थी
white
वो
is
चीज़ें।
having two options. The
तुमने देखा
pawn
होगा
can
ना,
capture
तुमने
or the queen can capture. So what do you think?
वही बोल रहा हूँ,
Which,
जिसने
what
देखा
should
है
you
और
choose?
जिसको मतलब
हाँ
Pawn or the queen?
बनाया है उसको समझ जाएगा।
वो तो
Yes.
अभी तू मेरे से पूछ रहा है
Any
कि क्या
idea?
था, तो मेरे को भी नहीं समझ रहा वो जिसने बनाया है वैसे ही।
उसको
Okay, Advik, yes, you can also type me in the chat.
ये वाली और ये तीनों मतलब मेरे को ऐसा गिफ्ट ही आई हुई है। ये जो तीनों है ना फ्रेंड्स, ओए मोटे
हाँ
मेरे को गिफ्ट आई हुई है, तो मैंने ये तीनों रखा है।
समझ गया ना मैं।
ये और
Okay,
ये
if
जो
you
बाजू
think
में
that
है,
you can capture it with the pawn, yeah, you can
हाँ,
capture
yeah.
it with the pawn, and after that, I'm just playing a random move. Okay.
ये भी अच्छा है क्या?
Okay. If you think of playing B4
Gold है उसके
and
अंदर पीस है
making this
उसको।
pawn weak,
Actual gold
this
थोड़ी
can
होगा
be a
क्या?
good idea.
अबे
But
फिनिशिंग वाला होगा ना?
yeah, but the problem is if you
Gold
capture
है
it
वो।
with the pawn, then black is playing immediately A6, breaking your pawn structure.
अच्छा।
Like after capture, and this is a backward pawn. So this structure is not good.
TV?
Yes, Sriyansh, Sand Sakran.
अच्छा।
Okay. Abhilash, yes, you are correct. So we should capture with the queen. We can play this variation also.
अच्छा।
But here the best way is we should not trade this passive knight against this good knight. So knight b3 is not that good. In this position after takes, we can play knight h4. This is the main move. Yeah. Yes, Avilash, we should capture it with the queen. Okay, so after knight h4, the plan is to play knight. We can go knight h5, I mean knight f5, and then we can play queen e1, queen f3, attacking the pawn on b7. So now we can see all the pieces are getting very active. Yes, Rishu, with the queen. Yeah. So I think this question is clear to everyone. So here, what can black play? Black can play. Okay, if I play g6, I think this is not a good move because this is weakening the structure. So by g6, black can do one thing. Black can restrict white from playing knight f5, but I think this will not help because queen can come to d1 and f3. This is a plan, and if I move the knight anywhere, then the h6 pawn is also under attack. So we can see like white pieces are much more active than black. Like this bishop is not doing anything, and this bishop is also yeah, this is active, but it's also blocked from this side. So this g2 bishop is very strong, right? Okay, so now moving to the next position, and that's gonna be an interesting one.
एक काम कर, अभी जा ही रहे नीचे, तो पानी तो ठंडा ही है ना।
Okay, let's do this one. So in this position, yeah, here, okay, in this position, white captured bishop takes h6. Okay, so after bishop is taking on h6, okay, so now black is left with two options, right? The two option is the pawn can capture the bishop on h6, and the second option is the queen is capturing the pawn on d4. So these are the two options you are getting. Okay, the pawn can capture on h6 and the queen can capture on d4. So take your time and tell me that what should now black do. Which one do you choose? You are capturing the bishop or you are capturing the pawn? See, if you capture the bishop, there might be some checkmate threats also. So think carefully and type me in the chat. Yes, and okay. Rishu is saying queen d4. So Rishu, you were afraid of capturing the bishop. Okay. Okay. So any other? Okay. Edward is saying pawn h6. Okay. Komatala Patra is saying pawn capturing the bishop. Okay. Edward saying g8-6. Okay. Avilash queen d4. Okay. San Satran is saying there is a checkmate if I capture the bishop. Okay. So now in this position, okay, capture the bishop. Komal Patra is saying. Okay, SB is saying queen takes d4. Okay, so now let's analyze the position. This is called elimination method. Okay, so when you are taking decision that time, sometimes you have to use this method also. Okay, so in elimination method, what we have to do first, we are going to calculate the easiest variation. What if we capture the pawn on d4? Okay, so the answer is, if we capture the pawn on d4, what can happen? Queen takes, rook takes, then bishop comes to e3. Okay, so after the bishop is coming to e3, let's say black is playing rook d8. Okay, if black is playing rook d8 here, what can white do? I think here okay, here the first thing is white is having pair bishop advantage. This is one thing, and now black is threatening to play knight g4. So here I think white can play bishop g5 and pin this knight. And here I can see that white's pieces are very much harmonious, like pieces are very much active. Here black can play knight d5 is working. Capture, bishop d5, rook d5. Okay, yeah, so this can be played, but I don't think this is a good variation. Okay, so after bishop e3, the rook can go to d7. I think d7 is the better option because now bishop g5 is not there. So here also there might be something coming. Okay, bishop f4 might be there. Okay, bishop f4. Okay, still knight d5 is there. Okay, bishop knight d5. Okay, let's see a different variation. Okay, I think the best way to play is f3. So here, if white is playing f3, okay. Okay, if white is playing f3, then like restricting knight g4. Okay, this we can do, but the thing is, still white is having some advantage with pair bishop. This is one way of playing, right? Black is getting this endgame. And after bishop h6, now coming to the second option, why not bishop g5? Okay. Sriyansh is saying, why not bishop g5? Okay, let me analyze that again. Okay, rook d7, why not bishop g5? Okay, yes, after bishop g5, knight d5 is coming. Okay, so like there are some traits coming, so it's better to and in the next move black is not this one. Yeah, black can play pawn f6 also, attacking the bishop and the rook. So for that reason, not bishop g5. I'm not considering bishop g5. f3 followed by bishop f2 is I prefer this one. And now coming to the other option, after bishop h6, now this variation g takes h6. Okay, so after g takes h6, what will happen? Let's analyze this. Okay, after g takes h6, queen is coming to d2. Okay, queen d2, then knight g4. So after knight g4, what is happening? The knight is defending the pawn on h6 and the rook also. So yeah, I checked the chat. Yes, I'm checking now also that many were afraid of capturing the bishop on h6. So, but it's actually, there is nothing. The knight is defending the h7 square. So queen d2, then king g7 is not working because of this very good intermediate move, rook g5 check. If the pawn captures, queen captures, king g8, and first we are going to capture the knight, king g8, check, king h8, and it will be a checkmate. So so after queen d2 attacking the pawn, okay, yeah, Jyoti Pro, yes, you knew it. Okay, Sansakran, you said rook g5, very nice. Yes, Edward is also saying no checkmate. Yes, Sansakran, very nice. King g7, yes, Edward. There is no checkmate actually. So after king g7, rook g5 is there. It is a checkmate. We already analyzed this. So now knight g4 is there. So I think most of you missed this move, knight g4. So here, if there is rook g5 coming, black can capture it. Then if white is capturing with the, okay, Riyansh, yes. Okay, Riyansh. Actually, I'm just reading the names which I can see in the chat. Okay, Riyansh. So after queen g5, king h8, and here I think white is happy with a threefold repetition, queen h5, king g8, and queen g5. So this is a threefold repetition, and I think both the sides should be happy, right? Yeah. So this is a draw. So you have to be very careful while choosing or while you take any decision that what should you play. So here after bishop h6, so you have these two options, capturing the d4 pawn and capturing the bishop. So here we are capturing the bishop and we are getting a draw. Yeah. Okay, so we will keep up till here today's session, and I hope everyone enjoyed this session with me. And again, we are going to meet again in our next session. Might be we will schedule again. Okay. Yeah. So I think everyone enjoyed this session. Okay, you can like, subscribe, and yeah, you can comment also. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye everyone. Meet you again.